Welcome to the next episode of Discipline, Desire, and Dedication. My name is Dakota Lang, along co-host Garrett Cotten. Right here in Utah, Salt Lake City, got a special guest with us, Xoren. Welcome, bro. How are you?
Pretty good, man.
Good.
Glad to be here. Grateful.
Yeah, good to be. It's pretty cold outside, huh?
Just a little bit more snow than I'm used to.
Yeah, you're from Utah, aren't you?
Yeah, the southern half, though, so it's all desert.
Oh, closer to Nevada.
I'm a desert rat.
That's good.
Absolutely. So I know we kind of got a rundown. You were in door-to-door sales for, 8 years?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So if you kind of just want to, dive into your childhood, where you're from and kind of like, what got us, here to this point.
Cool. Yeah. I guess you can say I went the traditional route, man. Like, I grew up here in Utah. There's a lot of door-to-door companies here.
Tons, yeah.
And I went on a 2-year church mission. And then when you get back, you sort of just get recruited.
Where was your mission at? I always like to kind of dive into that a little bit because I'm sure it kind of attributed to your door-to-door sales.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I was in Alaska.
Oh,
so,
wow. That's awesome.
Again, polar opposite from where I'm from. But, that I guess you could say the traditional route, man. Got home, got recruited heavily, just fresh off a church mission. And, that's how I got introduced to it, at least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sat down with a few companies. And
you said, I know we were talking a little bit before the podcast, you said you're 28 years old?
Yep.
Okay, and is your family from the Utah area, or did you kind of move here, whenever you were in school or whatever?
Right. So I'm the only Utah baby in my family.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So my mom's from the Bay Area, California.
Okay.
And then my dad's actually from Hawaii.
So Hawaii.
Yeah.
And how many people in your family, brothers and sisters?
3 brothers, 2 sisters, and I'm the baby.
Okay. Yeah, big
Yeah.
family.
Yep.
Usually, Polynesian culture is usually pretty big families, though, huh?
Yep. Big
Yeah.
families, big people, like a lot of food, a lot of rugby players, football players.
Yeah, I attended the Polyfest out here like 2
Oh,
years
did you?
ago. I lived in Utah for like 2 months with Performance Windows. And
Cool.
like when I started the job,
Yep.
and Polyfest, what was it? I got like a Otai or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
The drink?
Man. Yeah, the
You like it?
pineapple drink was incredible. I had so much good food there.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah,
I like the
it's fun.
culture. Yeah. So as far as your door-to-door experience, so you came straight off your mission and you jumped right into a door-to-door industry. Like what were you selling?
Yeah, man, pretty nuts. Like, I'd got home from Alaska, like this time, 2018, January, and then I went straight out that May. So
Okay.
I'd only been, acclimating for a few months, and I ended up going with a pest control company,
Yep.
and that's where I actually met a mutual friend, Jack, and we were both first years together in San Antonio, Texas,
Yeah.
and
San Antonio. Okay, I'm in Austin.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yep, I'm in Austin.
Yeah, so that was like my first rookie year or greenie, and that's how I got introduced to it, man.
Did you have very much success, or were you kind of an average guy?
Yeah, it was good. Like, it was one of those things. I'm like, I've heard of the industry before.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know much about it, and it was like, I might as well try it, see how it goes.
Yeah.
If I suck, whatever, it's good on the resume.
Can always come home and find something.
Exactly, and if I make good money, great, I'll come back.
Yeah.
So
kind of talk about your, you're like, okay, I'm going to go do this pest control gig. Kind of talk about, like, your first day. What was it like on your first day when you went out there? Obviously, you went to San Antonio, so it wasn't a ground that you were familiar with, correct?
Right.
Kind of talk about that. Did they just, like, put you in a hotel room, or how was that process?
Luckily, I went with a reputable enough company where, they had, like, these apartments set up for us,
Okay.
which was cool.
Don't you have to sign a contract too? Of like, you can't, if you have to break it, you have to pay it back or something. Is that usually how it works?
I've heard of that. Their thing was just, like, finish the summer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you don't, we're not going to pay you.
Oh, okay.
And that was that.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and like I said, I didn't really have much plans other than just, working my tail off, so I
Yeah.
wasn't going nowhere.
Yep.
And we get there. That was my first time to Texas, actually.
Oh,
I'd
no.
never been. And Texas is a lot more green than I thought it would be.
Uh-huh.
And San Antonio's humid, man.
Yeah.
That was shocking because, I'm an island boy.
Yeah.
So I'm used to Hawaii and, tropical rainforest sort of thing. And it's more humid in Texas than Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. We're from Louisiana, so we know all about the humidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I thought I could handle it, but it was hot. But anyway, So yeah, they sent us out there. We had our own apartment, which is cool. Just a couple roommates. And my first day was just, I guess, just like your first day of school, man.
Yeah.
You just go out there, you just kind of wing it.
Yeah,
You know?
that's how I did. I set 6 appointments my first day, and none of them ran. Like, not a single one ran. But I just, that pure excitement of going out there, something new, something I've never done before.
Yeah.
And it took me like 3.5 weeks to see my first sale come through, so it took a little while.
Yeah.
But I saw the potential of success in the door-to-door industry, and that's
Right.
kind of what was so appealing.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, man. I had a different start than most people. The first door I ever knocked, I sold.
Really?
Like,
That'll hook
Like-
most, yeah.
yeah, like you don't hear that often,
Easy.
right? And it was a trip because my car group leader at the time, like, he just dropped me off this area. It was a gated neighborhood, and like, for your listeners, like, usually gated neighborhoods are like
You got to
different.
get sneaky. You get
It's
in there.
different. It's
You
different. Like,
Yep.
you can have some negative connotations going
Oh,
into
yeah.
it.
Still knock them though.
Yeah, I mean, it is
All
what
hood
it
is
is.
good hood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ones that are scared to go in there, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be that one.
Yeah. No.
And that's the blessing of being a rookie, right? Like, you just don't know any better.
Ignorant.
Yeah, you're ignorant, and it's like, all right, cool. So, you know, a door's a door.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was a trip. I think I ended up getting like 3 deals that day, and
Heck yeah.
pest control is a little bit easier to sell, but
So let's go on the pest control route. So how, pest control is not on a script. Is that correct, or is it on a script?
it is. It's a
Okay, it
script.
is on a script. When you go through the script, is it that you're just setting up the appointment, or are you going directly into the home, to close the deal as well?
Good question. So you're closing the deal, but you're just doing it on the doorstep.
Doing it on the
Yeah,
doorstep.
it's like a 5-minute deal. It's quick,
Walking around with an iPad?
pretty much.
Oh,
That's
God.
it.
Yeah.
Water bottle, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my first year, rookie too. It's funny. I was walking around with the AirPod in my left ear,
Oh no.
just listening to music. Just
Yeah.
like,
That's
oh, yeah,
what-
keep me motivated. That's what I was thinking, at the time.
You got to stay in a good attitude, so
Yeah.
it helps.
Yeah.
Jared Tupou, one of our guys that worked with us in Denver, he used to go. He was also Polynesian as well.
Is he Tongan?
Yeah.
From Cottonwood?
He might be.
Shorter dude?
Hit a little shorter.
He's a little bit shorter. He's stocky. He's,
Yeah.
he's
Is
a
he?
pretty big guy.
He
Yeah.
played rugby?
He could.
I might know
Maybe
him.
not.
Anyway.
Jared Tupou, but yeah,
Yeah.
he was the same way, and he would listen to like he would carry a speaker some days, and I'd see him walking down the neighborhood just bopping, and,
Yeah.
having a good time. But he sold windows.
Transfer
Sold a
of
lot.
energy, bro. I preach it in the office of sales. It's nothing but a transfer of energy. Whatever you
right.
got to do to stay in that positive mindset, you're going to find success,
Yep.
Right.
Talk about, with the door-to-door, obviously on your first door you got paid, which is unheard of, right?
Yeah.
Kind of talk about how you kept that momentum going through, because obviously, you get paid on your first door, and then you just keep going, and you're not getting paid on every single door. How did you go through that failure after seeing the success so immediate?
Yeah, it was, to finish that story, like, I was so shocked, right? You get your first deal, and then it being the first door, you're like, I was still in disbelief. Like, this is not how it works. There's no way I'm going to get paid after that. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, so I called my team leader right away. I'm like, hey, like, I think I just sold my first deal. And he's like, no, you didn't. I was like, no, for real. Like, I got a card on file. Like, I went through my pitch, and the guy just said, like, let me go get my credit card.
That's awesome.
I'm just like, what in the world?
Yeah.
So he turns around, hadn't dropped any of the boys off. And I'm like, yeah, come look at my iPad, make sure I did this right. Like, I'm just in disbelief. And I show him my iPad, got the credit card on file. He's like, holy crap, dude. Like, good work. And so I'm, like, sitting there looking at him like,
They're probably pumping you. You a dog?
yeah, for real, man.
Yeah.
The boys were hyping me up. I'm just like, well, now what?
Yeah.
He's like, just keep going.
Next door.
And then he just drove off. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So to keep going, like, yeah, and I did pretty good, like, the first 4 days learning the job. And then eventually you hit that humbling moment where it's like you kind of hit a slump, which can still happen. And then I want to say like 3 or 5 days had gone past and I hadn't got a deal. So it's like I had a hot start as a rookie and the belief was high. But then I hit a slump. And then it was good for me, though. I was like,
Yeah.
I got to see both sides.
You got to have that humbling experience
Yeah.
of like, it's not that easy. You
Right.
know? Yeah, we always talk about in our offices, we say a fast success will build your ego, but
Yeah,
slow success is where you build that character.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's true.
And
man.
another thing with that, one thing I preach is always staying level, right? Not letting the highs get too high and don't let the lows get too low, right? If you
Right.
stay consistent and don't celebrate every win that you get, like the first door, in the back of your mind, I'm 1 for 1.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm 100%. But
Yeah.
if you let that high get too high, like you said, you get that humbling experience on the lows. When you go through the pest control process, how do you get paid on that? Is that like next week, or is it like how does that work?
Yeah, my years with that company, it was paid every 2 weeks,
Okay,
so every other Friday. But then, yeah, I think I've heard of other companies where they're paid weekly.
weekly. Yeah, just
At
depends
the time,
on the
it was
company.
just bi-weekly, pretty
Right.
normal.
And when y'all go on these, like when they send you off to these apartments, right? They got a big group of people, right? That go to this area. Is there like a structure as far as outside of the work, right? So you got your hours that you're going to get on the doors. Like, do they have routines for you outside of maybe going to the gym in the morning together? Is there like something like that for the personal development aspect?
Yeah, what's a good word? They try to, like,
Create a culture.
yeah, and like corral the team,
Yeah.
I guess. So, like, we'd have our morning meeting or correlation like 10 a.m., 11 a.m., or something like that. Most of us would hit the gym around 8 a.m., or hit the pool 9 a.m., hot tub, whatever. But then usually once during the week, you would do a team activity, like middle of the week to break up the monotony on like a Wednesday. And then you for sure had to do a team activity either Saturday night after work or on Sunday, just as a team together. Just make sure it's fun too,
Right.
Like as hard as knocking doors is, you gotta play hard. So
You got to fall in love with the skill. I mean, the work. 'Cause
Process.
If you don't
Yeah.
love it, it's hard.
yeah, and it's got to be an experience, right? A lot of these guys, like myself, it was my rookie year, but it was also my most memorable year. So
Right.
that's probably what kept me coming back.
And what year was this?
2018,
2018. How old are you?
at 22.
22 years old. So that was right after your mission, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So 22 years old, had no intentions of going to college or anything?
I was in college, yeah.
Okay,
Right-
so you were in
right.
college.
Oh,
Yep.
this was just your summer break?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
you went back to college after the summer of pest?
Yeah, it was, man, I can't remember the number exactly, but it was like a quick 70 knocking days or something like that.
Oh.
Like I would take my finals, I'd leave home May 6th, and like clockwork, man, I'd come back August 6th, get ready
Really?
for school. Like it was
And you did that 8 years in a row.
the first 3 years.
First
I
3
did.
years.
When COVID hit, I kind of dropped out of school.
Right. Yeah.
Took a break, a gap year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you
Taking
ever
my butt
graduate?
back.
I always like to ask.
No, man.
I didn't either. Did you graduate?
Mhm.
You did?
Yeah, I
Yeah. I
graduated.
went for 5 years and didn't
Did you?
graduate. So
Yeah.
I had a good time.
Right, man. Like, it's like I took a break after COVID. Was meaning to get my butt back in there and just never did. But
What college did you go to?
it's a school in southern Utah called Utah Tech.
Utah Tech.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What were you going to school for?
First was a pharmacist. I
Oh.
was going the pre-med route. And then next, I was going to go into just like business.
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly, I probably only have like 3 semesters left if I go
Yeah.
back. I got to go knock it out. But
Yeah. Just go ahead and get it done.
yeah,
Is that a goal for you to still finish?
yeah,
It is?
it is. I'll probably go online. I don't
Yeah.
see myself ever going back to campus.
It's an
or
achievement
anything,
to
but-
say that you've graduated. I kind of regret because I went, like I said, 5 years. So I'm pretty much like for a general studies degree, I could graduate already.
Yeah.
But I went for a health systems route and
Okay.
I worked in healthcare for like 3 or 4 months and was like, never,
Yeah.
can't do that. So that's when this opportunity arose. So I ended up
Nice.
coming and doing the door-to-door route.
Yeah.
No way.
So, you go do these summers over and over again. What eventually? Because you're not in door to door anymore, correct?
This will be my 8th year. Yeah, I am.
Oh, you still
you still are. That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yep, still in it.
Heck yeah.
And is it still with the same pest control company from the beginning?
No, so midway through, I switched to an alarm company called Vivint.
Oh yeah. So you're with Vivint now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So 4 years pest, and now this will be my 4th year in that field. So
Talk about that. That's interesting. Talk about the difference between
Pest and alarms.
Yeah, pest and alarms. Because we don't know any other door-to-door history besides windows, right?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So pretty much a short term on our story is that we both went to we graduated high school probably 15 minutes from each other. That's where our high schools were in the same parish, counties, what other states call it. And then we both went to college. You know, we were in the same fraternity together. Kind of grew up, and he went into healthcare, health hospice, whatever you want to call it, that his mom owned. And then I was working for United Reynolds, and then I left there and went into real estate. Okay. So I was recruiting him to come to real estate. He was recruiting me to come sell windows. Mm-hmm. And one day we were sitting on the phone, and me and him always stayed in contact. We always had a good bond. Every time we see each other, we were cutting up, talking about how can we get rich, right? Mm-hmm. How can we grow wealth? And we were on the phone one night. I was literally laying in bed with my fiance now, and he was like, "Dude, you got to come to Colorado. You got to come check this out." I'm like, "Nah, dude, you need to come sell real estate." You know what I mean? Leave all that, come sell real estate. He's like, "Nah." He's like, "Look, I'm gonna buy you a ticket. Come to Denver, Colorado for free. Come check it out. You like it, great. No big deal. I'll send you home if not." I'm like, free trip to Colorado, I'm in. Why not, right? Exactly. I've never seen the Rockies, like how you said earlier. The farthest south you ever been was San Antonio. Well, the farthest north I ever been was Birmingham, Alabama. Wow. You know what I mean?
Never seen the mountains.
Yeah, never seen the mountains. So I was like, dude, I want to check this out. So I walked up there, man, or I flew up there. He picked me up from the airport, and he had a little bitty townhome, the OG townhome. Mm-hmm. And we went in there. And at this time, it was just him, a guy named Dylan Crafassi, which at the time was 19 years old, and then me, right? So and it was my first time being up there. And Performance Windows, he was with them for about 6 months at the time. Mm-hmm. And this is in March of 2023. And I come up there, and I'm in complete culture shock, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm walking down, and he's like, dude, let's go take the dog on a walk. And his fiance now, Caitlin, they have a dog, Odessa. He's like, let's go go to the park with the dog, throw everything. And we go down there, we walking, and I'm high as hell,
First time in Colorado.
Yeah, first time in Colorado. Nice. And I'm like, all right, so we're walking, man. And we literally, in Louisiana, there's no sidewalks. Right? Okay. In Colorado, there's sidewalks everywhere.
It's like Utah. You can walk anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so we're walking down the sidewalks. Everything looks fake. Everything's so clean. There's no rust because down in Louisiana, the humidity's so bad that everything rusts, right? So we're walking through, man, and I tell you, the sun was setting over the Rocky Mountains, and there was kids running around playing. Everybody was just playing at the park, right? And when people say the definition of speechless, right, I literally felt that. Like, God was like, "You good?" And I'm just like, I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Literally. Yeah. And so we go through that process, and my first day was kind of, very different than yours.
Just tell me about your first door.
Yeah, my first door. So Monday I come in, I pass off everything, I get set up on all the apps, and we go out there. And at the time, it was like 5 or 6 people in this office. And so we go out there, and Cotton's like, "All right, dude, let's go." And I'm like, "All right, I'm a salesman.
He's in real estate.
I'm in real estate.
To all these people.
I'm a salesman, right? And I'm like, okay, so I go up there. I'm so confident, dude. My ego's big. I'm like, I'm about. This ain't gonna be nothing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Knock on the door, Cotton's behind me. I start going through my pitch. Boy, she said something like, "Can I get a card?" And boy, I just started digging the hole. Didn't even know what to say, right? Because she was interested.
I just wanted him to stop talking so I could fit in, but he wouldn't stop talking. Because in real estate, he solves his own problems, right? He's like, he's the person that solves the problems. But this lady just asked for a card. And he went down this hole and started digging and digging and digging.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, to the point of asking, have you guys thought about replacement windows? And she was like, yeah. And she literally was like interested, right? So we can set this appointment. Well, he keeps digging. Keeps on digging. And then go ahead.
And then it keeps on digging. And I'll tell you how you were talking about humiliated, right? Humble. I felt this little bitty on that doorstep, dude. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? After I went up there with all this ego, all this confidence, and just realizing what the process in the door-to-door industry, a lot of people don't realize until they get into the game, right? Yeah. And so I go through that, and to finish off the story, we went and drank a couple margaritas to ease the nerves.
You had to get that liquid courage.
Yeah, that liquid courage.
He was scared on the door.
Yeah, so we went and did that. He thought I was going to leave, but at the end of the day, I kept looking at it. I was like, there's no way that I'm going to let Garrett Cotten say that he could do something that I can't do, right? Because I was trying to recruit him. Yeah. So we went back. Third day, I got my first sale, and I was at the airport, right? So I was at the airport because at this time I was still in real estate, so I had deals pending. So I did fly to Louisiana to Colorado, Louisiana, Colorado, week on, week off, week on, week off. That's all we could do, right? Yeah. He was paying for all the flights because I couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm. But I knew I needed to recruit. So.
Yeah, and he knew that
I was going to invest in it.
Yeah, and he knew that if I came up here, I was setting appointments for him to go run them, and it'd make the money back, no problem. Okay. And investing into your people, I preach it all the time, right? Yeah. And third day, I was sitting in the airport, got my first sale. Jared Tupou, who he was talking about a second, is actually the one who closed it. Yep. And I was sitting there, Cotten called me. He's like, hey, man, you listen to Voxer? And I was like, what are you talking about? He hangs up on me. And I was like, what the heck? So I looked at Voxer, bro. I heard it. You know, that first sale, there ain't nothing like it, right? Yeah. That adrenaline pump, it just shows you that you can do it, right? It gives you that confidence to know, like, holy crap, this is real. Right. Because a lot of people, when they see the money that the people make in the door-to-door industry, it's not real to them, right? They don't believe when people tell them, yeah, we're making $40,000 a month as a closer, they can't even fathom somebody making $40,000 a month. Yep. But whenever they actually do it themselves, it lets them realize, man, this is real. I can actually do this. You know what I mean? And I got the sale. I text my fiance now, and I was like, we might be moving to Denver. And she was like, I wouldn't be against it. And whenever she said that, I literally text back, and I said, done deal. I said, we're moving to Denver. The decision's made. Yep. Right? And I sent the Voxer. I was like, all right, boys, I'm coming back. Like, this is done. I'll see y'all, in a week. Yep. And literally. And we went through the whole process, man. Me and him started in the Denver office, and then we just started building our pipeline. Okay. And that was in March of 2023. Now, to this date, we probably have throughout the country with performance windows probably around 40 Louisiana people throughout the country. I think it's about 40 that we've recruited. And whenever we got there, it was just me, him, and Dylan Crafassi.
Three dudes.
Yep. That was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Less than 2 years ago.
Yeah, less.
Yeah, less than 2 years ago. And we 4 market owners that are over offices in Nashville, Tennessee, Austin, Texas, where I am, Denver, Colorado, where he is.
A South Denver office. We
sent
Dylan, that first guy, we sent him to Charlotte, North Carolina to go and help out and build up an office, and he's going to go open up his own office soon. Yep. He's only 21 years old right now.
And then also we sent Clay Davis, which is one of our guys. We sent him down to Dallas, Texas to help grow that office. So
another one in Houston.
Yep, and another one in Houston now. Mm-hmm. Yep, Brandon Robinson. And, yeah, man, it's just incredible, hearing your story with the door-to-door industry. What would you say – because I've heard Levi talk about it, but it's kind of hard for us to relate because we don't know the other door-to-door industries. Okay. Talk about what is the advantages to having just a summer sales gig rather than doing it year-round?
It's a good question. I would say the time. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Like, you can generate enough income when the peak season, those 4 or 5 months in the summer. Mm-hmm. Some people do like a full 6-month summer. Then that opens up the rest of the year just to recruit. Like, you dedicate that whole time recruit, training, investing, networking, that sort of thing. While oftentimes too, because we're recruiting obviously like young single adults, college students, recently married couples, that sort of thing. And so if you can just go out and bust your tail in that small amount of time, where you could argue summer might be a little bit busier for most families. Mm-hmm. And then when it's back to like the semester, and you can recruit during those times. I think it's more so for recruiting more than anything else.
That is a very valid point.
And does Vivint, do they do like college campus recruiting and things like that?
Yeah.
We've been talking about it and like getting in with schools and kind of just getting out there and putting our name out there. But for us, we're year round. Like we got knockers. We just had a walk in 2 minutes ago. People are out there still in the snow. Cool. So with that kind of stuff, it's hard for us to find the time to put a team together to go focus on recruiting.
Right.
It's kind of like we have to constantly battle sales and recruiting at the same time.
Right.
It's a lot on your mental, because I mean, recruiting is sales. It's how many opportunities you're going to give yourself. Right?
Exactly.
Just like door to door. If I don't knock any doors, guess what? I'm not setting any appointments. If I don't talk to people and try and recruit them, I'm not going to get recruits. So I could see in the off season you get more of that social aspect, so you hang out with your family, you see more people. You're not working every single day, like 6 days a week. So it gives you an opportunity to recruit.
Yep, and that's probably part of it too. Now that you say that, just working outdoors in the summers, usually weather's at best. So. When you're not knocking doors, you can spend that time just recruiting. So
and I guess the product that we sell is kind of different too, because for us, especially like Colorado, Utah, it's incredible markets because their temperatures range so high to so low. And so during the summertime, there's times all the time where we'll knock doors and their windows fail, and there's ice like growing in between the panes of their glass. But that's a huge selling point, and it's an opportunity for us because we can say, look at your windows.
Right. Yep.
Versus like in alarms, what is the big? It's just safety, security.
Yeah. Peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Yeah. Straight up.
So I guess you could technically do it all year long, but summertime it's probably better.
Yeah. Do they have some people that do it year round?
Yep.
Really?
They have year round, and like right now, like I still go out once a month. I'll go knock for a week. They call them blitzing.
Yeah.
And like even though peak season for me is like April through September. Like I'm leaving to Houston on Monday.
Okay.
Like,
so your blitzes are always somewhere. You'll go somewhere?
Yep.
Okay.
We try to go, obviously, somewhere warmer during the winter, and we'll go out once a month at least. Just, iron sharpens iron, just stay loose. And where do we go? November, we're in Southern California. December, we're in Northern California. So at least for our program, we like to go out once for sure, leading up the preseason, leading up to peak season.
And is Vivint, I know you said pest control, you sell it on the door. Is Vivint very similar, or do you have like a closer that comes in and stuff like that?
So you still do the whole deal. You close your own deals, but it's so much more complex.
Right.
Yeah. It's
bigger problem, bigger pay though.
Yeah. Bigger ticket item. And I've dabbled a little bit with like solar panels too. I would honestly say it's one of the hardest products to sell door to door. Yeah. Because we doubt it kind of dips into the tech space. So then we also have a bigger competitor when you're in tech a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
So, but it's fun. You close your own deals. I mean, you make more money, and it takes a little bit longer. I mean, 20, 30-minute deals.
Talk about what would you say that is your biggest challenge in the door-to-door industry, in the door-to-door sales aspect?
For me, it's a little different than I think most guys experience. Most guys are, at least, I guess for us three, maybe not, but it's more of a, how do you put this? I say this job, door to door, at least the summer part of it, the peak season is more built for the young, single adult, almost, I would say the bachelor even, like.
Yeah.
And that answers your question. It's the travel for me.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult part. I went a little backwards. I mean, I got married pretty quick. We had kids pretty quick.
Y'all's whole culture gets married very early.
It does.
Me and him, I'm 28 years old. He's about to be 28.
Okay.
And we're not, you know what I mean? But, like, a lot of people that we work with are, obviously our corporate offices in Utah.
Okay.
So we got a bunch of people that are from Utah, in this culture, and all of them are, 21, 22 getting married.
Yep.
I got kid number 2 on the way.
Okay.
and
cool.
We're engaged. Well, actually, we are married. Now that we are, we went to the courthouse and stuff. So now no more living in sin or anything. You know?
Yeah.
But with 2 kids, before we made all those decisions, it's kind of like we always joke about it, but we want to make real good sure that she's the one, right?
Yeah.
before we sign that paperwork and stuff. But for us, it's always a little bit older. Like I would say, most people that we know are getting married, right? Like I think there was like 6 weddings that people.
Right, I would say on average probably around like 25, 26. You know, is where in our culture. Usually.
And how many kids do you have?
2.
Okay. What are they, boys and girls?
One of each.
Oh, you're lucky.
I got lucky, man.
Yeah. Are y'all done after that, or y'all keep going?
I want a lot of kids.
I do too. Especially, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be hard now, but it's going to be so rewarding later.
Yeah. I think she's good with like 3 or 4, but you know.
And that's probably why you say the travel aspect is so challenging. Yeah. That's being away from your kids and stuff like that. And in the summertime, you know, when it's not the summer months, y'all just do the week-long blitzes. But in the summer, you're talking about, like you said, 75 days.
Dude, I mean, I'm gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm a military man.
Yeah.
Like I deploy for 4 or 5 months. You know, if I can, you know, I'll go back monthly, visit my family, of course.
But that helps you to have success. Man, I preach it in my office all the time of where your mindset goes, your energy flows. So if your mindset is on, I miss my family, I want to be with my wife, I want to be with my kids, you're not doing your best on the doors.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's a hard balance. But that's the big thing about performance windows is year long. So the people who exceed are the people who sacrifice the most.
Yeah.
Like we've got a girl that just hit her golden door, and she's from the Dominican Republic. Her name is Eliana, and she's a single mom. She's got a 3-year-old kid. She pays a nanny to watch her kid 6 days a week.
No shot.
You know, and she tells me that and she's been doing that for, I mean, probably since March or July, somewhere in that range. She's been in our office since like February or March or January.
Yeah,
she was there
almost a year.
Yeah, she was there right whenever I left.
Yeah, but 6 days a week working, you know, she chooses not to take her off day because it's, again, what am I going to sacrifice and what's going to be my reward? But because she does that sacrifice, her reward is, I mean, she's made incredible money. She's changed her life. She is the person she wants to be led by, and she's up for running to be opening up a branch here soon. Yeah. And as a market owner,
and maybe you could dive in a little bit more on that because a lot of people, especially some listeners, they look at that and be like, "Oh my gosh, I got to hire a nanny. It's probably going to cost me $8,000 a month, $6,000 a month." Yep. And that prevents them from doing that, which ultimately holds them back for reaching higher potential.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I always like to have my favorite saying is losers will make excuses and champions find solutions. Right. A child is not an excuse for you not to have success, unless you're a loser and you just that is
you use it as an excuse.
Yeah, but I'm like for me, I've got 2 kids. Well, second one's on the way, so I got 1 kid. But if I have to sacrifice. It's this point in my life is when I'm willing to make all these sacrifices. And I look at it as like a 7 to 10 year sacrifice. If I can sacrifice 7 to 10 years, I might miss on some of the milestones of my children's lives. But as they get older, I can be there for everything.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. But it's all about perspective. If you don't see that vision, then you're not going to take the risk.
Right.
Yeah, well, you can either use it as an excuse or use it as your purpose.
Yeah. And that's Eliana's using it as a purpose because she didn't want to take those days off. I mean, work those extra days and whatnot. Yeah. But we sat down and had a talk, and we were like, "Hey, look, you're so close to being a 1%er in this company.
Yeah.
And if you just grind and lock in, it's hard today, but it's going to be easier later. And by her doing that, she's seeing the results. She hit her golden door on December 27th.
It's awesome.
After Christmas. Yeah.
So. But that was after we were already on Christmas break.
Yep.
She took that own initiative and went out there and
worked when nobody else in our company was working.
Yeah. Hopefully she took Christmas off.
Yeah, she did take Christmas off. Got to spend Christmas with the kids.
Yeah.
But she's hungry. The hungry dog eats.
No, that's dope.
It is.
But that's what it takes, man. I know. Let's kind of get back on track. I know we were talking about the
just out of curiosity for the Vivint stuff. So I've heard about Vivint Home. So is that like an option for you to sell it, or is that something that you offer to every door?
There's a couple things in the arsenal. So the basis is the alarm system, and then you attach the product to that.
Okay.
So camera surveillance. The third being the smart home automation.
That's kind of like Alexa lights and stuff like that.
Yeah, lights, shutters, opening your doors in your garage, all from the app.
Oh, okay, so it's a lot more than
full
just
smart
security.
Home. Yeah.
Okay.
Full smart home. And then depending on where you're selling, my program's always been in Southern California. Mm-hmm. So then we can attach the solar panels to the deal too.
Nice.
And so in a way, I'm brokering 2 products.
Yeah.
But it does help navigate the sale a little bit.
I think it's the greatest idea because Vivint was purely alarms for the longest time. Well, they started in the 90s or something like that, right?
Yep, 99.
99.
Yep.
Yeah. So they were purely alarms for a long, long time. And then once they established who they are, everybody knows Vivint, right?
Yep.
Well, for the most part, it's pretty rare that I'll mention. I'm like, you ever heard of Vivint or whatever? And they'll be like, yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
So it's a large company. But once they were established throughout the whole country, then they started introducing that new product. So
Yep.
I think that's the way to do it. And I think that's kind of like a goal with Performance Windows is we want to establish that we are the best at remodel of replacement windows.
Cool.
Establish ourselves across the entire country, and then eventually our distributor. Our manufacturer, they manufacture siding, roofing,
Nice.
like gutters, everything. So, eventually we might get to there as well.
Cool.
But
Just takes time.
Yeah. Hey, you can master it if you just focus on one.
Yeah.
I always kind of think about fast food, like Raising Cane's, fried chicken.
Yeah.
It works, and that's a huge business.
Man.
That's when Cotten always uses rabbit analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you chase 2 rabbits at one time, or what is it?
If you chase 2 rabbits at once, they both get away. So if you try to sell 2 products at once, there's a good chance they're both going to get away. And I like to say the same thing about selling and recruiting. That's the balance is you have to find the time to focus on selling, because if you're selling on the doors, but you're also focusing on recruiting on the doors, you're not going to sell. So you have to just do one. So just go
one
sell.
at a time.
And then if you come across somebody on the door, which recruiting on the door is really, really hard.
Yeah.
But if you come across somebody, we got quite a few people in our company that have been recruited. We knock the door. They're waking up. Hey, what's going on? And we'll recruit them, and now they have success.
Yeah.
Nice.
We've moved them across the country, like Joe.
Literally.
Cool.
Yeah.
19-year-old kid just graduated high school, and then Carter capped the balls, knocked on his door. Hello. Carter hitting him with the pitch, and he's like, he's not the homeowner,
Of course.
And then Carter looked at him and said, "What are you doing?"
Literally said that to this kid on the door, and he was like, nothing.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
And if you would know Carter, he's an old country boy from Louisiana. His parents own a big farm and all that. And he just told him, he said, "You're coming to work with me."
He said, "I'm going to pick you up tomorrow."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he came in, and now he's moved across the country to Austin with me when we left Denver. And then now he's in Dallas, Texas. He's done made 2 moves across the country, and he's grown tremendously.
Yep.
It's truly amazing what the door-to-door industry does for people in their personal development.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Talk one thing I don't want to get off the recruiting topic, 'cause I think it's very interesting, is me personally, I think it's one of the most challenging things in recruiting is recruiting somebody in another door-to-door industry, right? Okay. So talk about how you got what made you make the jump from pest control to alarms? Because most of the time when people are in a specific industry or company, they always believe, their belief, right? Oh, I got the best company. You can't, there's not a better opportunity.
You can't sell it,
right?
Yeah.
Kind of talk about how that got approached to you.
Let me answer that with a question.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Have you guys spent much time in Utah?
2 months.
He knocked in Utah.
Yeah, I knocked in Utah for 2 months, yeah.
So it's obviously tons of door-to-door companies. It's like the Mecca,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
Door-to-door, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hence the missionary thing, a lot of door knocking. So it's extremely competitive. So you're right. It's hard recruiting someone from one company to another. And the short answer, it comes down to trust. Mm-hmm. That's what made me originally get into the industry, because I quickly realized when you're working a commission-only job and you're 1099, you're self-employed, a lot of time that's not guaranteed pay, right?
Yeah, scary.
And so you need to know who's paying you, where that's coming from, and am I going to receive that in my bank account? And so those are the check marks that I had when I first got introduced. And so honestly, it was an easier switch for me because the same guy that recruited me originally went to Vivint, and then I met up with him again.
Oh, okay. So same guy recruited you twice.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. Good transition for me. I sort of hit my ceiling with this pest control company, and so I was ready for something different and more growth on it, honestly. my thing was like sales is sales, right? It's just different products. And so it was fun, man. I love transitioning from such a simple sale to something more complex.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what helped me the most, man, is the trust. You got to find someone you trust because, I mean, the end all be all, sometimes you can't trust everybody in this industry. That's the bottom line. So, and like most fields, so.
Heck yeah. And are you planning on staying in the door-to-door industry, or are you planning on eventually, working your way out of it?
What's your
plan?
Yeah, so I think Cotten hit on it a little bit. It's part of my 8 to 10 year plan. Mm-hmm. First, it was 5 years, right? And then 5 years in,
That's exactly what I said. I said, in this room with the owners, I told them 3 to 5 years. But now I'm in here, and I'm like, well, 7 to 10 looks pretty good.
Exactly. So 3 to 5 year plan, I'm like, all right, let's do this. My ultimate goal was just to get ahead, man. Like, let me, take care of my wife, pay for my own wedding, pay for honeymoon, all that stuff. And then the next step, if she wants to have kids, not worry about that. And then where are we going to live, right? Go buy a house, get a bigger house after that. So once I hit year 5 and I'm like hitting the check boxes, it's going well. So then it's part of my 8 to 10 year plan. I think going into year 10, I do want to transition maybe to something like real estate and go from there. Yeah. I've studied for the real estate test here in Utah.
Okay.
That test is difficult, so it's on my radar. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping I can fund that real estate journey using this come year 10. So
that's one thing. So I did real estate before I came into Windows, right? And people always ask me, like, man, I thought the money was in the real estate. And I'm like, yeah, 100%, right? There's a lot of money in the real estate.
Sure.
Long term.
That's the thing, is that with the door-to-door industry, in real estate, you got to talk to somebody. You got to build a relationship for a minimum 90 days. Majority of the time. You might run across one, the low-hanging fruit in the door-to-door. But it just takes so long to build that clientele and to build that, I guess you can say, that business. Yeah. With what we do, it's just such like on a appointment, what we call a marketing coordinator position, which is the entry-level position. You talk to somebody for 5 minutes, set the appointment, and you never talk to them again, right? So you talk to them 5 minutes, set the appointment, boom, it moves over to the closer, right? And after the closer closes the deal, boom, they're done talking to them. Now it goes to the market owner and then the back end. Right, so with the real estate, there is a lot of money into it. It's just something that you got to build over time, right?
Build a reputation.
Yeah, the reputation, and you got to have capital, right? Yeah. You got to have capital to start off with.
You do, man.
Whenever you do try to make the transition into real estate, is that kind of like a door-to-door approach you want to bring to it?
I'm sure that'll be part of it. Mm-hmm. I'd be ashamed to just do away with those skills.
Yeah.
So, I've had friends who have knocked doors as realtors or being a part of a brokerage or a firm. So, for sure, man, like recruiting and like there's quite a big like case study, I think, of skills you learn in this industry that'll just project you in any field.
I say there's nothing like door-to-door sales. You know what I mean? It demands maturity. You can't be immature in this because you're going into grown people's houses. Helping them buy a product. Yeah. And just the personal development, the discipline to get up every day to go knock your pins and do what you're supposed to do every day. It's just second to none. I believe it's the best job in the world. Yeah.
Takes discipline, desire.
And dedication.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Yeah, man, you got anything you want to wrap up with? You got any more questions?
Not too much. Yeah, it's an awesome story. Yeah. We're right there with you. Same type of goals that we've got in place, and we're going to be probably finishing up our route the same time that you are. Same ages and stuff.
Cool. Yeah,
how long you've been in the industry? 8 years total now?
Yeah, this will be
you
my
might
8th
end
summer.
a little bit before us. We do.
Yeah.
Are you kind of on track for that 10-year plan?
I think so. Yeah. I've had a good run. Man, it makes me sound old in the industry, but no, it's been a blessing, man.
A lot of experiences.
Yeah, like I'm at where I got ahead early, whereas I feel like the kids are coming up now, like you said, 19-year-olds, like it almost seems harder for them to get ahead.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong with the way the world's advancing, but yeah, it's been a blessing, man.
Yeah.
We tell people with those, we did right at $85 million last year. We've been in business for Performance Windows. Been
almost
5 years, right? April will be 5 years, I believe it is. And we tell them, man, there ain't no better time to start. Yeah. You know what I mean? We have 15 offices, and we want to be all throughout the country, as fast as we can. We just got to get the people. I
actually use Vivint as an example. I'm like, imagine if you were in Vivint in 2003.
Yeah.
Or 2004. That's this opportunity. You're at the beginning stages. There's less than 200 reps in our whole company.
Yeah.
Nice. How many people are in Vivint total today, do you think?
A lot, man.
Thousands?
Yeah, they employ the most in Utah. Yeah. And then just door to door, probably like 8,000.
Yeah. 8,000.
Yeah, like that's big sales
But
force.
I mean, that's 26 years, 25 years almost.
Yep.
Long time. Are they doing any type of big corporate conferences for 25 years or anything like that?
They did. Well, they usually have 2 events a year. I'm trying to remember if it was 25 or year 20, something like that. They did like a little milestone thing.
That's awesome, though.
So, yeah, it was fun. They had, you guys follow that David Goggins guy? He came last year. That was cool.
Oh, yeah. I think I did see that on Instagram or something. People were posting about it.
I bet you that was sweet.
Yeah, I was hyped.
Yeah.
That was cool to be a part of. And they usually have like a couple good speakers twice a year, so.
Building that culture.
Yeah. For
awesome,
sure.
bro. Yeah. Heck yeah, dude. Well, hey, I'm glad. It was a pleasure meeting you for sure.
Likewise.
You got an incredible story, man. It's only up from here for sure. Do you have maybe any last words for the listeners or anything like that, or maybe just somebody that's thinking about going into door to door?
Yeah, I tell every young, able single adult, like, you gotta try it once. No matter what you're about to do with your career, because it's awesome opportunity, especially those crucial ages between 18 and 21, where we all don't know what we want to do when we grow up. So put that on your resume. It'll help you navigate what's next.
Yeah.
It'll be a catalyst.
Heck yeah.
Even if it's just 1 year, it'll boost you towards your next goal.
It just grows you so much as a person.
Yeah.
Opens doors.
Mastering human communication.
Yep.
And in today's world, not many people do that because they constantly hide behind these phones.
Yep.
Right? And when in door-to-door industry, you're constantly human interaction all day long, mastering that.
Yep.
So, well, heck yeah, man. Well, I'm like I said again, pleasure meeting you. Can't appreciate. We're gonna get you some merchandise before we leave.
Let's
here.
go.
Instagram handle or anything like that?
Yeah, you got Instagram or anything?
Yeah, man. Hit me up. Instagram, TikTok. It's Zoski20. That's with an X. OSKII20. Yeah, look me up on socials, man.
Awesome. Heck yeah. Awesome, man. Well, hey, we appreciate you watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like and share the post on Facebook, Instagram. And we appreciate you. And have a great year of 2025. Peace.